Stop blaming the world for the mess you carry within. It's not people, nor work, nor bad luck that robs you of peace. It's the internal chaos you allow to grow silently. As long as you don't put order in your mind, you'll keep reacting to the slightest comment, wearing yourself out for the approval of others, and seeking external solutions for problems that can only be solved from within. Most people live with the autopilot on, accumulating resentments and justifications without realizing that the real enemy is not outside, but in the habits that feed their confusion and weakness. Stoicism is not a philosophical ornament or a set of nice phrases to read on social networks. It's a relentless method to look at yourself without excuses and regain the control you gave to emotions, impulses, and the expectations of others. I warn you, putting your interior in order is not pleasant, it's uncomfortable, and requires courage. It's like pulling out the rotten roots of a tree. It hurts, but if you don't do it, it will continue to weaken you from within until you collapse. These 10 lessons are not soft advice or words to calm you down. They are tools for you to stop once and for all that inertia that keeps you trapped. You will have to be silent when your ego wants to scream. Learn to say no when your weakness urges you to give in, and stop waiting for others to validate who you are. Real change begins when you look in the mirror and accept that no one is going to rescue you, that everything you have allowed will remain there until you decide to face it. Whoever manages to master their mind no longer needs to control anyone else. Whoever knows how to breathe before reacting and lets go of what does not define them ceases to be a slave to their environment. This path is not made for those seeking comfort, but for those who want strength and clarity. If you are willing to listen to it and practice it, you will discover that the real power was never in changing the world, but in changing the way you face it. 1. Organize your inner self to master the outside. Organizing the inner self is like entering a workshop where tools are scattered on the floor, rusted, piled on top of each other, impossible to use when they are really needed. Whoever lives with a disordered mind walks with the same chaos, scattered thoughts, emotions that ignite uncontrollably, and energy that is wasted on what contributes nothing. Internal disorder becomes an invisible prison that conditions every movement. You try to build something outside, but the foundations tremble because there is no firmness inside. And so, the outside world ends up reflecting the internal confusion that you carry with you. The first step to mastering the outside is to take responsibility for cleaning up mental and emotional space. It means learning to distinguish which thoughts are useful and which are garbage that only repeats old stories. You can't aspire to clarity if every day you carry past guilt or fears that don't belong to the present. Stoicism teaches that the mind should be a place of order, a refuge you can trust. Marcus Aurelius wrote that our life is what our thoughts make of it. That's not a romantic idea, it's a warning. If your mind is saturated with noise, your life will be too. Organizing your inner self requires discipline. It is not enough to desire tranquility. You must train the mind as you train a body. Every time a thought arises that drags you into drama, ask yourself if it depends on you to solve it, or if it is just another distraction disguised as urgency. That simple practice already begins to sweep the accumulated dust inside you. It is not a quick or comfortable process, but it is the only path to real strength. Clarity does not come by chance. It is built with small acts of self-control, with the courage to face what you have avoided for years. Mastering the outside does not mean controlling others, but influencing the way you face circumstances. If your inner self is a battlefield, every external provocation will drag you. If your inner self is in order, nothing will be able to shake you beyond what you decide. Internal order turns problems into manageable challenges, criticism into other people's opinions, and failure into strengthening lessons. But if you don't clean your mind, every obstacle will be an insurmountable wall, every foreign word will feel like a wound, and every difficulty will turn into an excuse to give up. Start with the simple. Dedicate daily time to silence, not as evasion, but as a space for observation. Write down your thoughts, classify them, recognize which ones strengthen your purpose and which ones sabotage it. Check which emotions arise more often and what triggers them. Just as a warrior cleans his sword before battle, clean your mind before going out into the world. Order is not achieved all at once. It is a constant exercise of reviewing, adjusting, and recentering. External chaos will never cease to exist, but if there is firmness within you, the noise outside loses strength. The real power is not in avoiding the world's disorder, but in not allowing that disorder to penetrate your inner self. When you master your mind, you master your life. And when your inner self becomes solid ground, the outside loses the ability to break you. That is the first lesson. Put your inner self in order, and the rest of your life will start to align with clarity and strength. 2. Let go of words that do not define you. Words are like seeds that you throw into the terrain of your mind. Some bloom and strengthen you, others poison the soil and do not let anything good grow. Many of these words are not yours. They were left to you by people who judged you, labels that you silently accepted, insults that you ended up believing. You have been carrying phrases for years that should never have become your identity. Every time you tell yourself that you are not enough, that you cannot, or that you always fail, you are watering a weed that chokes what you could really become. Stoicism teaches that we should not cling to what does not depend on us, and one of the things that least belongs to us is the opinion of others. However, many times we give more weight to those words than to our own voice. What others said about you when you were a child, a comment thrown in a bad moment, a criticism disguised as advice, all that stays floating in the mind as if it were true. It's time to start letting go. You cannot move forward while you continue to drag the echoes of what someone else decided to say about you. Let go of the words that keep you chained to the past. You are not the mistake you made or the weakness you had, nor are you the empty praise that was given to manipulate you. Each label accepted without question is a burden that steals mental space. Ask yourself where each statement you repeat about yourself comes from, and decide if it deserves a place in your present. This act is not just psychological, it is an exercise of power. You regain the right to define yourself. To practice it, pay attention to your internal dialogue. Every time you notice a negative phrase repeating in your head, stop and question it. Is it a fact or just an interpretation? Does it strengthen or weaken you? If it does not contribute to your growth, do not pronounce it even for yourself. Changing the way you talk to yourself is one of the most stoic habits you can adopt. Marcus Aurelius warned that the soul is dyed the color of thoughts. If your thoughts are made of harmful words, do not expect to find peace or clarity. This does not mean ignoring reality or inventing false optimism. It means replacing phrases that sabotage your character with reminders that keep you firm. Do not say, "I can't handle this." Say, "I'm still learning to face it." Do not say, "I always fail." Say, "Each attempt trains me to improve." The words you choose do not change the facts, but they do determine the way you face them. It is also necessary to set limits to the language that others use with you. If someone insists on belittling you with their words, you do not have to accept it or remain silent. Stoicism does not propose enduring humiliations. It proposes acting with dignity and self-control. Protecting your mind also means closing the door to those who try to fill it with poison. Remember that each word can be an anchor that ties you to pain or a step that elevates you to strength. Let go of those that do not define you, even if they have been with you for years. What you are today is built with the phrases you decide to believe and repeat. Clean language creates clear thought, and clear thought forges a stronger life. Inner peace begins by stopping feeding the mind with foreign voices that should never have had power over you. 3. Conscious silence is your best defense. Silence is like a wall built with firm stone. It makes no noise, but it stops the storm trying to get in. Not all attacks come with screams. Many arrive in the form of subtle provocations, words that seek to ignite your anger or distract you from what matters. If you respond to every verbal arrow thrown at you, you end up exhausted, wasting your energy on battles that are not worth it. Conscious silence is not cowardice, it's strategy. It's the shield that protects you from what doesn't deserve a response and reminds you that you don't have to participate in every conflict you're invited to. Whoever does not master silence lives at the mercy of their impulses. An offensive look, an unfair criticism, a malicious joke are enough to ignite them. But when you learn to remain silent with intention, something changes. Power shifts to you, not the provocateur. It's not about keeping quiet out of fear or allowing abuse, but about choosing when to speak and when silence is stronger than 1,000 words. Stoicism teaches that self-control is a sign of wisdom, and there is no greater demonstration of control than resisting the temptation to react to the insignificant. Conscious silence is also a space for observation. While others rush to respond, you listen, analyze, perceive what's behind the words. Whoever keeps silent sees more clearly the true intentions of others because they are not busy defending themselves or attacking back. Often silence reveals what words hide: fears, insecurities, manipulations. Practicing silence doesn't mean disconnecting from the world or becoming indifferent. It means taking care of your peace as something sacred, deciding that you won't give your energy to everything that provokes you. You can start by observing your own conversations. Ask yourself if what you're going to say builds something or just feeds the ego. If it's not useful, don't say it. This habit, simple but demanding, begins to clear the noise that consumes your mind. Conscious silence is also a way to curb the ego. Often we speak to impress, to defend ourselves from criticism, to prove that we are right. In that impulse, we stop listening and react with words that we later regret. By being silent, you don't lose authority, you gain it. You become the owner of what you say, because you no longer speak on impulse, but by choice. Remember that not everything deserves a response. Sometimes the greatest act of strength is not to feed a conflict that leads nowhere. Silence, when used correctly, can disarm the aggressor and make it clear that you are not available for mind games. Epictetus said that it is not things that disturb us, but our judgment of them. Silence allows you to stop that judgment and not react from emotion, but from reason. Make silence a daily habit. Dedicate moments to be alone, without distractions, listening to what happens within you. This exercise strengthens your mind because you learn to tolerate emptiness without seeking to fill it with useless words. Over time, you will notice that provocations lose power, that insults bounce off without hurting you, that you don't need to justify yourself in every situation. Conscious silence is not absence of voice, it's presence of control. It teaches you that true mastery is not in shouting louder, but in not letting external noise determine your peace. When you understand this, you discover that silence not only defends your tranquility, but also projects a strength that no one can break. 4. Breathe before reacting and overcome the impulse. The human mind is like a calm lake at dawn. If you throw a stone, the water stirs and the waves expand uncontrollably. This is how our emotions work. A hurtful comment, a defiant look, or a bad day is enough for the inner lake to lose its calm and respond with waves of anger or anxiety. However, the stone has no power on its own. What causes the chaos is the excessive reaction to its fall. Learning to breathe before reacting is like deciding not to let each stone break the tranquility of your internal water. The impulse is quick and treacherous. It's that spark that ignites an unnecessary argument, that makes you write a message you later regret, that leads you to make decisions without thinking about the consequences. Most people believe they can't control it because they confuse speed with inevitability. Stoicism teaches that between the stimulus and the reaction, there is always a space, and that space can be trained. This is where conscious breathing comes in, a deliberate pause that slows down the momentum of the impulse and gives way to clear judgment. Breathing before reacting is not weakness, it's strategy. It grants you a few valuable seconds to ask yourself if what you're about to say or do brings you closer to your purpose, or just feeds the anger of the moment. In those moments of pause, you regain control of your mind and prevent emotion from making decisions for you. Rarely is the immediate reaction the wisest. Impulsive decisions often leave scars. To turn this practice into a habit, start in the everyday. When something bothers you, before responding, inhale deeply, counting to 4. Hold the air for a moment, and then exhale slowly. It seems insignificant, but that brief act interrupts the automatic reaction cycle and calms the body enough for the mind to regain clarity. Over time, you'll notice that the impulse loses strength because your brain learns to seek the pause before the response. It's also important to recognize the patterns that make you react easily. Perhaps certain words hurt you because they touch old wounds, or certain attitudes awaken resentments you thought you had forgotten. Identifying these triggers is not a sign of weakness, it's self-knowledge. By knowing what provokes you, you can anticipate it and prepare to respond calmly instead of falling into the trap of impulse. Stoicism doesn't propose to repress emotions until becoming stone. It proposes to manage them intelligently. A Stoic feels anger, but doesn't let that anger decide for him. He breathes, observes, and then acts with intention. The difference between reacting and responding is the space you build with that conscious breath. There lies the true self-control. Mastering the impulse is a form of freedom. As long as you're a slave to your reactions, anyone can control you by simply pressing the right button. But if you learn to stop and breathe, you regain the power you had given away. No one can manipulate someone who decides how to respond. Breathe before reacting, not only to avoid unnecessary conflicts, but to take care of your dignity and your peace. Don't let a spark ruin everything you've built with effort. Each breath is a reminder that you have the power to choose your response and therefore your destiny. Over time, that simple pause becomes an inner fortress capable of maintaining calm even in the midst of the storm. 5. Learn to say no and protect your space. A garden without fences becomes anyone's territory. The flowers lose strength, the root gets exhausted, and the weeds take over the ground. This is what a life without boundaries looks like. Anyone who wants to takes your time, your energy, and your attention, while you smile out of habit and accept tasks, favors, and conversations that take you away from what really matters. Saying no is not empty harshness, it's conscious care. Whoever does not protect their inner territory ends up cultivating others' expectations and their own resentments. Stoicism reminds you that your attention is the most valuable resource. If you give it away without criteria, you will lose clarity, purpose, and peace. Protecting your space is a declaration of respect towards yourself, not an attack on others. The fear of saying no comes from the need for approval. You believe that if you refuse, you will be seen as cold, selfish, or ungrateful, and you forget something fundamental: pleasing everyone leaves you empty. Whoever is offended by an honest boundary was not looking for a relationship. They were looking for an advantage. Firmness does not need shouts or excuses. A brief and clear phrase is enough. It is not possible for me. I cannot take it on. It is not a priority now. You have no obligation to justify your schedule or to take care of the ego of those who try to impose theirs on you. Choose the battles, choose the commitments, choose where to be present, because every yes dilutes your strength or concentrates it. Start by identifying in which situations you give in out of inertia. Work that does not correspond to you, favors that interrupt your day, messages that push you to discuss topics that you have already decided to close, invitations to environments that drain you. Before accepting, breathe and ask yourself if the commitment aligns with your values, if it contributes to your goals, or if it only avoids discomfort. If the answer is no, then the correct word is also no. Postponing the boundary out of fear turns a small discomfort into a chain. Be direct and kind, maintain eye contact, use a firm tone, and end the conversation without opening doors to haggling. If they insist again, repeat your refusal without changing the explanation. Protecting your space also implies rules for yourself. Turn off notifications during concentration hours, reserve blocks of silence, prioritize rest, limit exposure to empty conversations and content that only feed anxiety or morbid curiosity. You are not a 24-hour public servant or an emotional dumpster. You are responsible for managing your internal resources. A Stoic does not hide from the world. He participates with criteria. Take care of what enters through your eyes and ears, because all of that becomes thought and then decision. There will be those who try to blame you. You've changed, you're distant, I find you weird. Simple answer, I have chosen to prioritize what does me good. You don't need long speeches. Constant practice will give you a new respect, first for yourself and then for others. People who value your presence don't want you for always being available, but for the quality of what you deliver when you decide to be present. And you can only offer quality if your life is not invaded by useless commitments. Saying no does not take away your humanity. It gives you back your dignity. A clear boundary is a yes to your mental health, your energy, and your goals. If it's hard for you today, start small. Reject what you know you don't need, postpone what hinders, reduce what disperses you. Watch how you regain hours, willpower, and focus. Over time, you will notice a profound change. Less friction, less drama, more clarity. Whoever governs their schedule governs their life. Don't forget, your space is not negotiated, it is honored. Define it, protect it, and repeat it without guilt until it is always natural. 6. Cultivate thoughts that strengthen your mind. The mind is like a fertile field that never ceases to produce. Sow weeds and weeds will grow. Sow sturdy trees and you will have roots that withstand storms. Each thought you allow to take root becomes the seed of your emotions, your decisions, and the life you end up building. There is no neutrality. What you do not cultivate with intention, life will fill with what it finds, and it will usually be doubts, fears, and judgments inherited from others. True mastery of character begins with the type of ideas you feed day after day. Many think they have no control over their thoughts, but Stoicism teaches that although you cannot prevent a thought from appearing, you can decide whether it stays or goes. Epictetus said that it is not things that disturb us, but our opinion of them. It is this opinion that you must learn to care for and direct, because what you tolerate in your mind ends up influencing everything else. Start by observing what kind of thoughts you visit most often. If you find that most are complaints, self-criticism, or comparisons, don't be surprised if your mood feels weak and exhausted. The mind becomes what it repeats most. To break this cycle, you need to practice a type of silent discipline. Every time a thought appears that sabotages your calm, do not feed it. Do not repeat it in your head or use it as a guide. Let it pass, like someone watching a cloud drift away. Cultivating strong thoughts is not achieved only with positive phrases, but with truths that support you in difficult times. For example, instead of thinking, "I can't handle this," replace it with, "I haven't solved it yet, but I'm still learning to handle it." Changing the internal narrative is not denying reality. It is choosing a way to interpret it that keeps you standing. The language you use with yourself determines whether your mind will be a refuge or a battlefield. An effective practice is to dedicate a few minutes at the beginning and end of each day to reflect on what you have learned and what you can improve. This habit, recommended by the Stoics, helps to clear mental noise and sow clear intentions for the next day. It also helps to limit the time you spend exposed to messages that feed anxiety or anger. Do not underestimate the impact that constant news, conflicts on social networks, or toxic conversations have. Everything you hear and read are seeds that can stay in your mind without you noticing. Surround yourself with readings, conversations, and environments that nourish your strength instead of draining it. It's not about living in a bubble, but about carefully choosing what you allow to be planted within you. A well-cared-for terrain yields better fruits, and your mind needs the same level of attention. Over time, you will discover that cultivating firm thoughts gives you a type of peace that does not depend on the world being in your favor. When the mind is filled with clear ideas, solid principles, and self-control, external difficulties lose part of their weight. Chaos can roar outside, but your interior will remain stable, like a tree that does not bend with every wind. This lesson is simple to understand, but difficult to apply because it requires consistency. It is not enough to decide to think differently one day. You must practice it every day until it becomes your natural way of looking at the world. Only then will your mind become the fertile ground where clarity, serenity, and true strength germinate. 7. Close the door to those who drain your peace. A house with doors open to anyone soon becomes a refuge for intruders who respect nothing. This is how your life works when you don't set a clear boundary. You let in opinions, demands, and presences that consume your energy without giving you anything in return. Each person you accept without criteria is like someone who arrives with empty hands but takes away part of your calm. You cannot aspire to serenity while your environment is a parade of others' conflicts, criticisms disguised as advice, and dramas that do not concern you. Taking care of your peace does not mean becoming cold or lonely. It means choosing who you share the most valuable things you have, your time and your emotional space. Stoicism teaches that the wise protect themselves from useless passions and avoid what disturbs their mind. This is not selfishness, it is self-care. Whoever does not set boundaries becomes an easy target for manipulators, perpetual victims, and people who only know how to consume attention. Start by recognizing the signs of those who drain your peace. They complain about everything but never act to improve. They only look for you when they need something. They minimize your achievements, ridicule your goals, or insist on reliving past problems. You don't need dramatic confrontations. Just observing their pattern is enough to understand that your tranquility cannot depend on them. Setting boundaries requires silent firmness. It's not about shouting or justifying every decision. A simple, "I can't right now," or "I'd rather not talk about that," is enough. Your goal is not to convince them to change, but to make it clear that your space is not available for their negativity. Most people will respect that line. Those who are offended by it were not looking for your company. They were looking for a place to unload their chaos. You should also take care of the invisible boundaries, those crossed with conversations, messages, or social networks. Do not open the door to endless discussions with those who only want to provoke you. Learn to withdraw without giving explanations. Silence and distance are legitimate responses when someone insists on taking you to their storm. Surround yourself with people who respect your energy and add serenity instead of subtracting it. It doesn't mean they have to think like you or always agree, but that their presence is not a burden. Seek relationships where you can be yourself without fear of constant judgments or emotional blackmail. The environment you choose is a mirror of how you value yourself. If you allow anyone into your life without filters, don't be surprised if you end up exhausted and confused. Closing the door to those who drain your peace is not an act of contempt. It is an act of respect towards you and those who really deserve a place in your life. Over time, you will find that your mind becomes lighter, your mood more stable, and your focus clearer. Peace is not found by fleeing to the desert or distancing yourself from the world. It is built by learning to protect the space that supports your emotional well-being. Whoever takes care of their environment takes care of their inner strength, and that is what differentiates someone in control of themselves from someone who lives at the mercy of others. 8. Live in the present without autopilot. The hourglass drops the grains one by one, and each grain that falls is a moment that does not return. However, many people live as if the clock is not emptying, trapped between memories of the past and plans for a future that does not yet exist. Thus the days go by, without realizing that the only real time they have is the one that is falling now. Living on autopilot is letting the grains escape unnoticed. It's walking without feeling the ground, breathing without perceiving the air, responding to everything without asking yourself why. Autopilot does not appear overnight. It installs slowly when you repeat routines without questioning them, when you get used to reacting to problems instead of reflecting on them, when the noise of daily life becomes louder than your own inner voice. The result is a constant feeling of emptiness, as if everything happened too fast, and at the end of the day, you are not clear about where you spent your energy. Stoicism teaches that true wisdom consists in living the present moment with full attention. Marcus Aurelius wrote that only the present belongs to us, because the past is no longer and the future has not yet arrived. Ignoring this truth is to renounce the only ground where you can act and change something. Living in the present does not mean neglecting tomorrow, but to stop postponing life, waiting for everything to settle down to start enjoying it. It is learning to focus on what you have in front of you, a conversation, a task, a meal, a breath. When your mind is trapped in what happened or anxious about what will come, you lose the opportunity to influence the only thing you can control, the now. To break with autopilot, start by observing your day with deliberate attention. Notice the taste of the first drink you take when you wake up, the way you walk to work, the way your breathing speeds up or slows down. It may seem insignificant, but each conscious moment trains your mind to stay present and reduces the feeling of living in a meaningless routine. Another useful practice is to establish pauses throughout the day. Just stop for a few seconds to inhale deeply and observe how you feel. Ask yourself, am I reacting to the day or am I directing it? That simple question can bring you back to the present when you notice that you are getting lost in future worries or in mental arguments about the past. Leaving autopilot also involves reducing unnecessary distractions. Phones, social networks, trivial conversations, and an excess of news steal fragments of attention until they leave you empty. Assign specific moments for these activities and do not allow them to invade the spaces where you should be fully present with yourself or with others. Life is not enjoyed based on great future achievements, but on the ability to find value in the everyday. A mind trained to live in the present learns to recognize small advances, valuable silences, lessons hidden in what seems common. When you manage to keep your attention in the now, the burdens of the past lose weight, and the fear of the future stops dictating your decisions. The present becomes a space of clarity where you can act with greater calm and precision. Each well-lived moment is a step towards a more conscious and authentic life. Thank you for staying until the end of the video. If you watched the whole thing, comment, "I am Stoic," as our secret signal to know that you're a true student of Stoicism. Don't forget to subscribe and give the video a like if you enjoyed it. See you in the next video, and remember, keep cultivating your Stoic mind.